inspiration for Sandman was, in writing Black Box as a whole, it was really important for me to start at the beginning. And the tale of the Sandman is something that my mom taught me when I was really little. I slept with her till I was, in middle school, and every night before bed, she would usually tell me a story. And I used to do this thing with my eyes where I'd press really hard on my eyes, and then I would tell my mom that I could see like pixie dust above me, and I would kind of go like this. And so she made up this little character called the Sandman, and it was this little man that flew around, and he would sprinkle dust in your eyes to put you to sleep and to give you sweet dreams. And for some reason, out of all of my memories in my childhood, that one has stuck with me the most. I couldn't tell you why, but when I think back to the happiest times of my life, I think about laying in bed at night, my mom telling me a story, and this little man coming above me and putting me to sleep. And I'm a lot older now, obviously, but sometimes when I can't sleep or I'm having a hard time, I still do it. And even though there's a part of me now that knows maybe it's not real, it's always really helped me. So, in exploring childhood, I wanted Sandman to represent all the things that we feel as children that we lose in adulthood, which is magic. And so this magic little man that flew above me is just my best example I can give of what childhood feels like, where I wanted to start this story. And really, it was the beginning of everything before it went to shit. What Sandman is really about is me looking back on my earliest memories in life. I grew up in Phoenix, Arizona, and one of my favorite things about Phoenix is cotton candy skies. We have the most amazing sunsets you've ever seen, and for me, I remember them so vividly. I remember almost every sunset I've ever seen. I remember waking up in the morning and my dad always had cartoons on for me, and I would look outside and we had this really pretty pool, and I just remember the contrast between this green grass and this bright blue pool. And I wanted all of those things that I remembered seeing as a little girl to come to life in a song. And in the story, I speak about never believing that life would be any different than it was right there in that moment. If somebody had told this little girl that was me that my life was going to drastically change, that I wouldn't just always wake up and my dad would be out there with, Hannah Montana on for me, I wouldn't have believed you. And so I speak about this roller coaster of childhood that I didn't want to get off of. I was fascinated with the idea of growing up, but at the same time, I didn't realize just how much freedom actually existed in childhood. I think the lesson and the message behind the song that I want, anyone to take away who's listening to it is that childhood is this beautiful, wonderful, magical thing, and that's amazing. But we do grow up, and at some point you have to accept that, and you have to accept that there are going to be things in your life that go wrong. There are going to be times when you're sad. There's going to be times when you're happy. You have to accept it, though, and you have to let sort of life unfold. And I also think, though, a big part of Sandman is the magic can return. A big part of this Black Box story is this idea that, even as you get older, although you may lose it somewhere along the way, when you finally get to a place with yourself where you're very happy and maybe you are grown up and you have your life more figured out, that magic and that inner child comes back. It never actually left. Sometimes it just has to take a back seat while you figure out your life.